Obviously, Saquon Barkley is having a player of the year kind of season. Ran for 200 yards against the LA Rams after running for almost 200 yards the first game against the Rams. And he was the difference in this game. And that is just as simple as that. And I can imagine being in the Giants front office or his ownership, Mara, watching these games and being like, what were you doing? Yes, they look like idiots. They look like idiots for letting Saquon Barkley out the building, and they look like they've been wasting his talent for years because he looks like the guy that everybody expected him to be coming out of Penn State, and it looks like he didn't have any support around him in New York and could never thrive in the way he is now. He's behind one of the best offensive lines in football, a quarterback who can take some pressure off him because he can take it. He took it in this game. He kept it, 44-yard touchdown to open this game. So Jalen Hurts can hurt people with his legs. And so all these things have helped him, just be able to flourish more and really let his light shine brightest in this game. When they had to have it, when it was a really critical situation, they put the ball in his hands and he made it happen. 2 really long runs. I think one of them was 68, the other one was 70-something yard runs, and he really closed the game out multiple times. And Jalen Hurts was 15 for 20 for 128 yards, was sacked 7 times. A.J. Brown, another underwhelming game, just 2 catches for 15 yards. But again, he's reading his books and trying not to get frustrated and being a team player, which you can respect. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith has had an incredible playoff run, another sack in this game. Jalen Carter, 2 sacks in this game. That's why they won this game. But Matthew Stafford, he gave him a chance. And even the last play where Jalen Carter sacked Matthew Stafford on 3rd and 2 and forced it to be a 4th and 11, he had an open receiver right over the ball. If Jalen Carter doesn't make that play, I don't know if they win that game. I don't know if they win that game because he had an open receiver, a guy coming open that his defender had just slipped, coming open right over the ball. And I know that's where Stafford was going with the football because he rarely misses those. But if that's not what happened, the Philadelphia Eagles were able to win that game. Saquon ran for 205, 2 rushing touchdowns, and they pulled it out. Their defense got the stops they needed. Like we said, big play Slay. I think he had 3 PBUs in a game, almost intercepted a ball. Now you got Matthew Stafford, considering what his future looks like. Does he keep going? He's still playing at a high level. Puka Nacua made some incredible catches down the stretch. Kyron Williams ran for 106, but he had a critical fumble. Matthew Stafford had a critical fumble. Those turnovers caused by the Philadelphia Eagles defense were another huge factor in the ball game. Can the Washington Commanders gain anything from watching this tape? I'm sure they can. They're going to have to be able to run the ball. And obviously Matthew Stafford isn't the most mobile quarterback. The Rams offensive line isn't the best offensive line in football. They were able to move guys around. They were able to find lanes. I think this is going to be a lot better of a game than people think. And I think Washington has a much better chance than people will probably give them, or Vegas will give them. They'll probably have them at 5 points or something, but it's going to be a lot closer than that.
The Philadelphia Eagles identity has shifted quickly. As soon as they got Saquon Barkley, this team, he is the ultimate glue guy for this team. He dominates. And when a game like Jalen Hurts didn't, necessarily put up the best stats in a game where the weather conditions were in play, they leaned on him and he produced. And he was the ultimate X factor in it. And I know you like the Washington Commanders, but I like the glue guy. I like Saquon Barkley, Rich. He's going to get them out of so many different situations. We're going to see what happens next Sunday, but it's going to be a great matchup. These guys know each other, Rich. You played against a division foe numerous times in the NFC Championship game. When you were with Seattle going against the 49ers, how much did it change your mindset knowing that you already seen these guys multiple times this year?
Yeah, it gives you a lot of confidence. Familiarity breeds confidence. And I think that's the thing that's going to help the Washington Commanders in this game. Obviously, we need to figure out what's happening with Jalen Hurts' knee. I think he's a really tough guy, and every time he's gotten hurt in the past, he's bounced right back and really has never really let it hinder him. So I don't think he's going to let it hinder him in this game. Again, like I said, in this game, the Rams should have went all out to stop Saquon Barkley. They didn't. He broke the game open. He's the reason you lost. And again, if I'm Dan Quinn, and I got Dan Quinn's number, and I know Dan Quinn well. I'm not going to call him for this game. I'm pretty sure he's going to go all out to stop Saquon Barkley. That's why they got Marshawn Lattimore, and they traded for him so that he could play man-to-man coverage on guys like A.J. Brown. Obviously, Sandstrill has a lot of confidence, 2 interceptions in this last game. So they're going to have to lean on their secondary. They had played a lot of man-to-man coverage throughout the season. The Washington Commanders did. Throughout the season, they played a lot of man-to-man coverage. They got to this game against Jared Goff and played 70% zone coverage. And I think that threw Jared Goff off. What are they going to do against the Philadelphia Eagles? I don't know. I'm not Joe Gibbs knows. Dan Quinn knows. I don't know. But I think they'll have a plan. And you got to understand, you're not going to stop Saquon Barkley. You're not going to stop him. Stopping him is 150 yards. You know what I mean? Stopping him is 125 and a touchdown. That's considered, hey, well, y'all played really well against him today. But if you can hold him to 125 yards and you can, again, force the ball into Jalen Hurts' hands. 7 sacks today. He held the ball. He didn't want to make a mistake. He didn't want to push the ball down the field. Now, he had a really accurate throw, a good throw to Devontae Smith. Kello Witherspoon knocks it out, gets an unnecessary roughness call. But I think he's trying to make sure, hey, I'm playing mistake-free football. I'd rather take a sack than push the ball and put it in harm's way. And I think that's a smart decision because you have a talented enough team that if you don't make mistakes, you don't turn the ball over, you'll still probably be able to pull these games out. And they were able to win this game. But in this game against this kid, I don't think you're going to be able to play that game. I don't know. Now, Saquon's good enough. And Jalen's been to the Super Bowl, played well in Super Bowls, has played at a really, really high level at times. But he's going to have to play at that level to beat Jalen. And that's what we're going to have to see because they're going to score points. They just scored 45. They scored 36 in the last game they played. And I know that the fans are going to say, well, Jalen got hurt in that game. Well, Jalen don't play no defense. Jalen don't play defense, and Saquon was still there. And so that's the part of the tape that I'm watching where I'm like, hey, I'm watching tape where they're finding answers. They're finding open guys. They're finding holes in his defense, and they're exploiting them. And if, maybe obviously Vic Fangio is an incredible coordinator. He's going to have answers. He's going to have adjustments. Jalen Carter's going to play a good game. Noah Smith is playing his best football. So maybe they get home and they get to the quarterback a lot and they have 8-9 sacks, force a couple fumbles, and we're not talking about nothing. It's a blowout. But the way they're playing and the confidence they're playing with, this is going to be a great divisional dogfight. And I can't wait for it.